Tenpai is back. Post-ban list. We are playing by the post-ban list as the field spell in-game looks like it's semi-limited, but it's limited to 1. Chundra is limited to 1. If we looked at the meta weekly of last week, 143, where's Tenpai? There's 1, because it's post-ban list. The deck's no longer good. If you all have been on a break or you don't know that we're playing post-ban list, Chundra limited to 1. Field spell limited to 1. You're obligated. It's the rule of Yu-Gi-Oh! You now have to root for Tenpai. It is now the underdog deck, so I want to see some cheers for Tenpai, rooting for this deck, hoping that they win. Let's go.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
1/1. Discard to summon from the deck. Chain the Max C into the Gamma. Lots of Gamma in today's event today. What is going on? LBF Max C. What does that mean? Is LBF mean something? LOL something? I'm going to need some help from all of you. You tell me, whip out your big brain here and tell me, how can Tenpai defeat Borland? It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects and cannot be targeted by monster effects. How do we out this? Battle, card effects can't be destroyed, and monster effects specifically cannot target it. Imperm, droplet, boom, it's outed, but we can't search those cards. We do not have them in our hand, so what do? You're gonna need some non-engine, the non-target spin. Now, people have a lot of misconceptions about the non-target spin. They think that just because the non-target spin has dragon in its name, that they now think it is a dragon. And what am I talking about? We look at Tenpai Dragon under the search here. It's a rarely used card. It's not even on the analytics. That's how rarely it's used. We're gonna be typing in Cyberse. It's pretty much fallen off in usage. This one, Cyberse Quantum Dragon. You think this is a dragon, so the problem with this outing the Borland as it does, at the start of the damage step, you're gonna return the opponent's monster without targeting it, non-target spin back, great. But it being Cyberse means if we activate a Genroku to summon a monster from the deck, we now can't summon this. If we activate a Biden Dragon effect to Reborn from the grave, we now can't summon this. What's a quick way to check that this becomes unsummonable is how you're gonna very simply type in Tenpai Dragon and you're gonna type in the word cannot special. And then with that, you're going to now cannot special for the rest of the turn if you activate this effect, and then also cannot special summon for the rest of the turn after activating this effect. Be very careful about that when whipping out your Cyberse non-dragon. Now, in addition to the Unstoppable Borland, we have Masquerena, which is going to link into generally a Little Knight, but we already have the Little Knight to get ready to banish. The Borland is not done. It's not just unstoppable, it's also a negate. It's gonna negate a monster. So even if you get out a monster that could out the Borland's going to negate that monster, right? Well, let's see what happens. Sangan summoning, grabbing from the deck of Fadra. We do have to discard. We're discarding that Fadra. Summon a Dora. As the Borland now negates that Dora, you cannot chain to that negate, but the Sangan summoning says, I'm unaffected, mate. Huh? What the heck? And the Borland states that negate the effects of that monster, and if you do, which you did not, special summon a monster from the grave, you do not get to summon from the grave. We used that effect for no reason whatsoever. That was just a mistake. Now, what I could tell you is that maybe we thought that even though we don't negate, it would still reborn the Rocket Tracer so that we could make a better play with Masquerena. That's probably what we were trying to do, but we had to know that the if you do clause is the reason why it did not summon. Genroku. Now, this Genroku summoned from the hand does not lock you in a dragon. Only the effect of summoning from the deck do you then get locked into dragon. We're making a Biden Dragon. Biden reborn from the grave. We're about to get locked in a dragon. After it resolves, Little Knight's gonna chain banish. What are we doing? What are we doing? Sangan summoning is still, listen. We don't want to get lethaled. If the Little Knight stays up, It is a liability. The Masquerena and the Little Knight are a liability. They can make a Transcendent Dragon. They could go to battle phase. They could attack 100 times over the monster because, yeah, that's what they could do, right? They could do lethal damage. So let's get them off the field, get the liabilities out of here. It's just Borland. And they're locked in a dragon only. They can't make a Samurai Destroyer. Transcendent Dragon. Can't destroy by battle. But it states that Borland is negated, right? It's not negated. It cannot activate. That's a difference. Not being able to activate versus being negated. It's got its full effects. It just can't use its effect to negate, which we already used in main phase 1. So I don't know where we're going here. Let's just find out. Let's see. Fadra Reborn from the graveyard. Or no, we're activating the Synchro as we bite in. Trident Dragon could get large and in charge. We could still deal battle damage, but how much battle damage do we need for lethal? 6,000 times 3, 18,000 damage, 25, 25, 25. That is barely not enough. 500 life. That's it. Okay. Couldn't do it. Access code Talker is here. We do have the effect of Kaiman to be quite protective. Oh, no, we don't. It's gone. We do have the effect of Transcendent and Bident, which could reborn from the graveyard during their turn after they declare 3 attacks. Do we need 3 attacks to have lethal damage, though? No. 6,000 life. You could simply attack with 2 to then subvert the Transcendent Dragon, ensuring it does not get summoned. Just like that, let's hop into game number 2. There you go. There you go. What happens when Tenpai loses is that they choose to go second. They don't want to go first. This time, we drew the out. We do have the Forbidden Droplet. Droplet is getting ready to negate. What is happening here? Dispater states, you can target a banished card, shuffle it in the deck. Then if you shuffled it into your deck, you destroy the monster. If you shuffled it into the opponent's deck, you negate the effect. What are we doing? We're not negating. Now, does Nibiru still tribute the field even if it gets destroyed from the hand? Let's read the effect. During the main phase, if your opponent has 5 or more summoned, you could tribute as many face-up monsters in the field as possible. That's the first part of the effect. So that answers it right then and there. It does not matter where Nibiru is. It could be discarded, deleted, destroyed. It's still going to tribute the entire field. Pop Nibiru, tribute the field. There you go. But where's the token? That's when you have to further read the card, and it states that if you do summon this, then summon a token. If you do and then are essentially the same exact thing that are requiring the preceding effect to happen for the latter one to go through. Now, what is the difference between then and if you do? If you do is simultaneous, then is sequential, but they are both dependent on the preceding text. Let's go. Well, I think we win. Open field? All right, Tenpai open field. Nibiru is pretty good. Nibiru, I think, is one of the best design cards ever. I love it. It's good. It's great. Yeah, okay. Dragon Link lost. Dragon Link telling Tenpai to go first. Makes sense. Okay. We're going to grab a Genroku here, and with that Genroku being added, we're going to be triggering the effect to summon itself onto the field as we chain Maxi. Maxi against Tenpai going first is not that big of a deal. It's completely okay to just end your turn. Our main goal, if you're playing against Tenpai, know that they want to do this to you, is to summon a Transcendent Dragon within the battle phase, forcing all of your monsters to attack into this as you then die. We have Imperm, Droplet, DD Crow, plus the Transcendent Dragon play, which is not a form of disruption, it's more of a protection. We have Lubellion being discarded to add from the deck a Druid Swarm. We have Safer tributing itself, so we can't Imperm or Droplet. It's not a trigger effect of tributing itself. It is within the open game state, giving you the ability to Imperm or Droplet early if you want to. Making a Striker Dragon to search our deck. We already committed to our normal summon. Now, what's really big here is the newly unlimited quick launch. It is at 3 in today's event, and it's not a hard once per turn. We have double special summon a rocket from the deck, that is. Wyvern Burster searching for a Collapsed Serpent as we grab a field spell. Sure. We're going to be banishing some of the Collapsed Serpent, using the Chaos Base to draw a random card by returning that Wyvern Burster, randomly drawing into a black metal that we can't normal summon, unfortunately, as we now make a Romulus searching for the Dragon Ravine. Are we going to negate this with impermanence? Yes, we are. Negate the Romulus. Now, you have to translate what we negated. We are negating the ability to search for a Rocket Tracer, which was summoned with the Boot Sector launch. So you know what they do not want to see after negating them from gaining access to a Rocket Tracer to then summon it? A quick launch, which does exactly the play that they tried to stop from happening. So this negate means nothing. As we then now quickly launch the Rocket Tracer, which we tried to stop, come forth into Hermetic Seal, which is only activatable during the opponent's turn. Druid Swarm, banishing the Collapsed Serpent, our own, to then send it to the graveyard to summon a Lubellion, which will now trigger the Druid Swarm to send a special summon Genroku to the grave. This is the moment to jump off the field and summon from the deck. What are we summoning? A Chundra. Chundra and Fadra cannot be destroyed by battle. And if we declare an attack, they're going to be summoning from the deck and from the grave. We're going to Black Metal, equip onto the Red Eyes Darkness. Red Eyes Darkness, reborn a dragon from the graveyard. Rocket Tracer, pop the Black Metal to summon from the deck a Recharger, searching for a Meteor Dragon, which could be summoned from the hand. As we now turn this into a Pisty. Now with the Pisty, we're going to point to the same spot it's pointing to with our Striker Dragon to now reborn a Banisher and Grave Monster. We're going to DD Crow, banish that Black Metal, stop it from reborning. Now, the Red Eyes Darkness Metal is a non-target reborn, so using DD Crow against the Red Eyes Darkness, not a good idea, but Pisty was fine. As we now make a Delingerous. With Delingerous, we're going to strike our dragon, pop Delingerous, target the Recharger to add back to the hand. Recharger will now trigger, discarding itself, targeting the Delingerous to summon a different monster, to summon the Rocket Tracer. And now Delingerous is triggering to reborn from the graveyard, as we now turn this into a Borland Dragon, which can attack everybody on the field and negate without them being able to respond to the negate. As we now turn this into a Borlode Savage Dragon. Borlode activating to equip from the graveyard and Omni Negate. Negate anything except the Droplet if we send a monster to the grave to negate it. We're now going to quickly launch again. So broken, as now within the battle phase, we're activating Chundra to perform a Synchro Shokan as we now try to... This is start a damage step. We're summoning from the deck. We're not activating the Synchro. Oh my goodness. We could summon a Fadra from the deck. Fadra could reborn from the grave. Wow. This is a very special turn. Huh. We didn't activate a Synchro. We activated Summon from the deck. Negate the Borland and the Borlode. Summon from the deck a Fadra. Fadra can activate on summon, reborn. And now we can make a Transcendent Dragon, forcing every other monster to declare an attack onto that Transcendent Dragon. And that's exactly what we're doing. Holy moly. Bident Dragon, we're going to trigger the regain to reborn a monster from the grave. Druid Swarm is a hard once per turn on being able to send a monster to the grave. Reborn the Fadra, and now make a Transcendent Dragon. Make sure you don't do it at the end of the battle phase, otherwise they do not have to attack. And you are now forced to attack with every single body on the field. You already used the Druid Swarm. You have to swing, swing, swing. The Borland was negated, so it does not have to swing, but we did want to reduce it so it would not take out the Transcendent Dragon. As we now main phase 2, Little Knight, banish the Transcendent Dragon. Not many Tenpai players play more than one Transcendent Dragon. It's a very important card. Let's see if we are one of those players playing more than one. We are not. That's it. The one Transcendent Dragon is gone for good. Now, I do want to look at the analytics here. Let's look at the Tenpai Dragon breakdown. It is a 50-50. 50% chance we would have had another Transcendent Dragon. If you're not playing a second copy of Transcendent Dragon, you're not respecting the ability for your opponent to put you in the grind game. You're confident that you're going to win the duel before ever needing that second copy, which definitely is not the case here. We're going to be setting up that Boot Sector launch, which has the ability to reborn from the grave or summon from the hand. We're going to be summoning our Wyvern Burster. Now it's all up to the Nibiru as we Borlode Savage Dragon equip. 4750 with that Omni Negate, hit for 2150 damage. Now with being able to negate anything, what do we have to fear? The Bident Dragon is rebornable from the graveyard. It's a once per duel effect after 3 attacks have happened. Hydra is going to be negated by the Borreload, but it is not a destroy or a banish after being negated. But the Hydra by itself does nothing. The crazy part would have been if we had a Chundra from the hand to follow up. So this is where the ban list comes into effect. The chances of having a follow-up Chundra in the hand is now completely negated if their 1 Chundra is banished or in the graveyard already. It's limited to 1. 1 Chundra, no more Chundra follow-up. The grind game of Tenpai, I think, has severely suffered by the banless hits. Now I have Harpy Feather Duster. This is no good. No way you're playing that. Club of the Grave. Hey, Max C, stop trolling. What the hell is that? Negating Club of the Grave, and there you go. It wasn't trolling. I mean, what if he had a Club of the Grave in his hand to follow up after the Harpy Feather Duster? And just like that, Tenpai has admitted defeat.